like we're just seeing nepotism kick in. I just see Diddy Kid, like Diddy Kid is fucking shake that all over the place.
Yeah, he got a song with Kodak Black.
Yeah, he was at the BT. He's a cool dude too.
Yeah.
But like he's gonna be well prepared. Obviously, look who his father is. But for the random kid who comes off the street, and by the way, if you think about,
it's not like Diddy's son is a successful artist either.
I guarantee his deal ain't fucked up. I guarantee he's not. I guarantee because what the labels are doing.
Not if he signs with his dad, of course not. But what I'm saying is his dad is probably not giving him a realistic deal if that's his son. It's probably like, yo, listen, just whatever you need, I got it, and you can keep the profits. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, but you got to think.
I'm already rich. It's not a business deal. It's your son.
But play this. And you understand it. I think you respect the contract more than you respect the fairness of it all. I'm just looking at it like this.
It's all
in the music business.
It's business. Like at the end of the day, like, yo, like that contract will be over. And if you really have built up as a real artist and you really are an artist, not just a one-hit wonder, you're going to continue to make dope music and you could sign new deals. Like, yo, NBA YoungBoy's first deal wasn't the $65 million that he allegedly got. Like, but he built his shit up really on his own to sign those types of monster deals later on.
Okay,
he's not crying about his own deals.
NBA YoungBoy.
Okay,
and this is what I'm saying. Like, the reason why he didn't go. I remember the day he told me. He says, I'm not returning to Atlantic. This is years ago, and he says they're offering me new deals, and I will take less money, but I want to own some of my back catalog. I don't own it.
Yeah,
and when in discussion with Atlantic, they said. They upped the price. They refused to give him anything back of his intellectual property.
And that's fair based on how they want to run their business.
No, okay. However, what I'm trying to say is that with that now knowledge, that's why he's moving accordingly. But if he knew that back then, right? Because again, obviously a lot of these dudes are signing addendums, this and third, they would have moved differently. He only gained that knowledge after linking with Birdman. Being explained like, yo, hey, listen, I know you're getting some good advances, this and third, but you're a generational lifetime talent. You need to own some of your masters. And until he got that information, and again, that's all about information passing forward. He could have used the leverage because he had leverage for a while. You get what I mean?
He didn't have leverage when he originally signed that deal.
When he originally signed.
When he originally signed, he was not a hot rapper the way he is now.
Yeah, but he was a young dude. He signed addendums.
Hold on, he was a young dude from Baton Rouge that was like, wasn't he facing murder charges or attempted murder charges?
Attempted murder charges with suspended sentence.
You see what I'm saying? Like, he was a fucking disaster. Atlantic took a huge risk on signing him at all because he might be going to prison for the rest of his life. At the end of the day, like, yo, he signed the best deal that he could find at that time. So the fact that they don't want to go back and change the original terms or whatever, that's, it almost reminds me of
No, it's not changing the original terms. He's not doing what Dave Chappelle did. Dave Chappelle is just like, we did a deal. I don't like it now. Right. Change it.
He wants to do a new deal, but to get some of his old back catalog, but they don't have to do that shit.
Okay, and that's exactly why he did.
And so he went to a different label. And then, listen, no one's crying. Atlantic's not going, oh no, why didn't he keep negotiating? It is what it is.
But that's what I'm saying about education though, right? He's signed other things since then with Atlantic, since his first deal. The first deal was with APG. He's dropped 22 projects when he was really only needed to drop 5.
Sheesh.
And what happened is, because of partially a lack of understanding of what's really important for the status he was at, he didn't try to leverage him owning his masters before. But again, not his first deal, before that. And he finally did. So all I'm just saying, and again, I completely get what you're saying in the sense of, a lot of these motherfuckers don't make it. So obviously the label can't be like, here, $1 million to everybody, or here, y'all own everything and we own nothing, clearly. But there's a lack of understanding what the music business is and people, and when you see most of these artists, for example, you know what the Migos was suing QC? They're saying that the lawyer they had P assigned. Now we don't know if it's true, but that happens a lot. YB in the mirror. He doesn't own YBN. Why is that? You've been repping this. You got it tatted on you. You're taking life chances for this. Why don't you own a brand? Because the lawyer you had, and again, this is all about education. So that's why I made that comment. I seen a lot of people they were kind of up in arms about it. I think it kind of calmed down. Notably, which is the furthest from the source of who I was talking about. LL Cool J jumped out, and I was just like, I love LL. You know what I mean? I hear we don't live that far from each other. I think he's a good brother. You know what I mean? I think he's a good brother. It's just like, I wasn't talking about him, but I realized quickly it was more. You ever see when a mob generates for that one person everybody hates? There was a bigger argument to be had about older artists, and some of them aren't doing financially well, or some of them aren't and they didn't want to have that conversation. They wanted to say, I call them broken dusty.
And here's the, because I remember Fat Joe did a video talking about this situation, right? And he said, listen, this is my hip hop pedigree. I grew up right there in the Bronx where it happened. My brother carried crates for Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. So when I heard this, I said, okay, this is interesting, right? Because here's everyone's complaining about what you're saying, but if you want to talk about original hip hop, these founders and so forth, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, I interviewed Melly Mel, the main rapper of the group. Like the message, some people consider the greatest rap song ever. It's a song that changed the trajectory of hip hop. We talked about how that was the first time that a hip hop song came out where it wasn't just rappers talking about rapping. It was an actual social message. The New York Times started writing about it. People started taking hip hop seriously at that point. Hip hop could have been a passing phase if it wasn't for that song. One of the guys in that group, the brother of Melly Mel, Kid Creole, at age 62, was working as a security guard in a bad neighborhood. That's what he was doing just to make ends meet. And a handyman, I think, at some rundown building. He was having to work in such a bad area that there was a homeless man that kept harassing him. He ended up getting into an argument with him. He ended up stabbing him. And now he's doing life in prison. Kid Creole, who's your brother, he was obviously a core member of the group, but years later, some problems started arising. 2017, he got arrested and charged for the murder of a homeless man in New York City. According to reports, I guess he was working as a handyman and a security guard in Midtown, and he walked by a homeless man who I guess propositioned him in a homosexual manner or something like that. And they say that your brother actually pulled out a knife. He had a knife with, on his forearm with rubber bands. He ended up stabbing him in the chest and killing him.
And I'm not saying this because that's my brother, because like I said, me and my brother, we wasn't on the best of terms for years. But you kill a deranged bum, and then they treat you like you killed, Mother Teresa. Like it was some guy that was begging for soup, or some guy that was on the soup kitchen line, and then my brother stabbed him. He stabbed a deranged bum. The bum approached him, and actually, he did what anybody else would have done had this guy would have approached him, unless he was going to run.
Wow.
This is where some of our founders, these are these founders that Fat Joe was talking about, these people who he respects, who I respect as well. So you're talking about how, academics and his generation just care about money and they don't care about nothing else. Like, if you guys are so concerned about our hip hop pioneers, like I remember DJ Premier told me that DJ Kool Herc needed help raising money for an operation because he didn't have health insurance. So LL Cool J, Fat Joe, whoever else, like the successful Russell Simmons, who I talked to about this as well, Swizz Beats, whoever else, let's all get together, put our money up. I'll put up my money. I bet you'll probably put up some of your money as well. Create a fund for health insurance for our hip hop pioneers.
But it goes back to that same thing I've been telling you about. It's like, oh, I got this, but they don't have this. It's like hip hop, really, like this would be solved by more of if there was a unionized structure.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If there was a union or something of that sort, like,
we only come together
sure our pioneers.
Like, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're just coming together and talk shit. But no one said, something, this actually makes us realize that we need to help some of our pioneers who are broke.
I would have
can't afford health insurance.
I would have been cool would be in the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah.
If that turned to be something very positive, right? And they could be like, we're only doing this because fuck this guy, right?
Yeah.
But at
We're
least it
still
turned
doing
into something
it, so something
positive.
good came out of it.
It was basically like, yo, everybody throw your stone. And it was just like, all right, fuck you. We don't like you. We don't like the person next to me anyway. Let's just kind of dissipate, which is, it is what it is.